Hello crafters, I'm JanB and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. Today I'd like to show you how I made this thank you card. I showed it on my blog the other day and I had so much positive feedback that I decided to make a video. I used Blushing Bride for this one. I've made another one which I've used Soft Sky, and today I'm going to be using Sweet Sugar Plum. So to start off with, I'm going to tell you the card pieces you're going to need. The card base is Sahara sand and it measures 8 1/4 inches by 5 3/4 inches, scored and folded at 4 1/8. That is 21 by 14.5 centimetres, scored and folded at 10.5 centimetres. You'll need 2 pieces of Shimmery White cardstock, and these measure 4 inches by 5 5/8 inches, which is 10.25 by 14.25. You can use our normal Whisper White paper for this. It's just that if you use this you get a nice little glimmer coming through, but the choice is yours. It will work just as nicely with Whisper White. And then you need a piece of Falling in Love Designer Series paper. Now I've chosen this design and I've done it so that I can get the flowers down each side, like on this one. The thing is, if you decide to do this, it is rather wasteful with paper because I can't get 2 lengths out of this. This is 5 5/8 long, but I've wasted the top inch and 1/8 so that this comes up at a reasonable height. It is a bit extravagant. You might decide just to cut it from the top so that your flower there comes down to about this level. It would look just as nice, obviously. I've just got quite a lot of this paper left at the moment, so I decided to be extravagant. Later on you'll see me show you something where you can be very economical, so I'm not normally like this. But this piece measures 3 7/8 inches by 5 1/2 inches, which is 10 centimetres by 14 centimetres. Then you'll need a piece of Shimmery White, which measures 2 3/4 inches by 3 1/2 inches, which is 7 by 8.9 centimetres. A piece of Sahara sand, which measures 2 5/8 by 3 3/8 inches, which is 6.7 by 8.6 centimetres. And then a piece of Shimmery White, which measures 2 1/2 inches by 3 1/4 inches, which is 6.4 by 8.3 centimetres. And then a piece of Shimmery White, which measures 1 inch by 2 1/4 inches, which is 2.5 by 5.8 centimetres. A piece of Sahara sand, which measures 7/8 of an inch by 2 1/8 inches, which is 2.2 by 5.5 centimetres. A piece of Shimmery White, which is 3/4 of an inch by 2 inches, which is 1.9 by 5.2 centimetres. And then you will need some scraps for the flowers. So to start off with, I think I will do the stamping. So that's the piece for the sentiment. That's the piece for the inside of the card. And then these. So we just place those there. Right, let's get my scrap of paper in first. I'll do this one to start off with because it's nice and easy. Let me tell you the stamp sets that I'm going to be using. For the flowers, it's going to be Birthday Blooms, and this is all 3 stamp sets here are being carried forward into the new catalogue, which comes out on 1st of June. So I'm using that stamp there and this one because I want that flower and those 2 little flowers. I'm going to be using Rose Wonder for the thank you, and for the background behind here I'm using this background stamp which comes with You've Got This, which is a 2-box set. So the thank you first, I'll bring this down as low as I can. I'm going to use black archival ink, or correctly basic black archival ink. Nice and easy because this is a photopolymer stamp. There we go. Nice and easy. And then I am going to do the 2 flowers for inside the card. Let me show you that. Okay. So that's this one. And the first one I'm doing in the corner, so the stem just comes off the edge. And then the next one, the small one, I'm going right next to that leaf. There we go. So that's one bit colouring I'm going to need to do. Pop that there. And now these, I think I might be able to get it all on one piece. Let me see. So I need to fussy cut 2 of the flowers, so they can go on my paper at an angle. And then this stamp, the large one, I only need these 2 bits, so I don't have to stamp all of this. So what I'm doing is I'm going to get those 2 just along there, although I don't think that's quite, no. I've got to do it lengthwise. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do it down the edge there, and I save a little bit here. As I say, I told you there'd be a bit that I was going to be economical about, because it just seems to me an awful lot of waste to use all of this. There we go, I've got the flowers that I needed. So there's that, and the only other bit of stamping I need to do is the background. Just make sure you pick up the right bit, the smallest bit. Let's turn that over. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm turning my scrap paper sideways because I'm going to use Sahara sand ink, but I'm going to stamp it off once before I actually do my stamping. But then what I'll do is I'll bring this over here, put my paper on it, and then close this over it to press it all down so I don't get in a mess. Well, that's a theory. Okay, so first of all, ink the stamp up, and I tend to put whatever is biggest at the bottom, so the stamp is bigger than the ink pad, so that goes at the bottom. That's a general rule for me. There are occasions when I don't do that, but it's the exception rather than the rule. Okay, so stamp that off, put that down that way, pop this one on top, and then I just bring that over and there we go. That's a nice kind of colour, not too light, not too dark. It will lighten up a bit as well. So. Right, so that's all my stamping. Colouring, I have already prepared flowers and fussy cut them and everything, except these for the inside. So I'm going to show you how I do my colouring. I'm using marker pens, Pear Pizzazz and Sweet Sugar Plum. I'm also going to do these because I want to show you how I cut that double flower out. So we do the green first. No, we won't use a thin end, we'll use the brush end. I timed myself earlier on how long it took me to do all the colouring and all the fussy cutting, and it was 17 minutes, which is why I decided to do a lot of it beforehand, otherwise you'd all be falling asleep or switching off. Right, now what I do to get this bit of shading, I'll explain it on this one as I go. I gently colour all over, like that, and then I come back again just around the edges, and by coming back again, going over the same colour, it just makes it darker, so you get the inside lighter and that gives shading. Same on this one, light colouring all over, and then go back over just on the edges, and you finish up with a light bit in the middle. Let me just show you that close. Okay, you can also see the glimmer in this paper as well. It's beautiful. Right, let me just do the stems on this one. Seeing as how I'm going to be cutting that one out. Right, now, Sweet Sugar Plum. I do exactly the same as I did previously. I just colour all over gently. And I don't go into that centre bit to start off with. And I don't worry about trying to make sure this is all even at the moment. Just a soft little all over colouring is fine. Right, now I go back over again around the outsides, getting my dark area again. I do the same on the lower petal as well, just went off the edge slightly there. It won't show once I've done the... oh no, this one isn't going to be fussy cut, is it? Oops. Right, okay, so that's given me a bit of shading on that one down there. I'll just have a look at this, see what extra colouring needs to be done to make it look like a good job. And then just very lightly colour in that centre bit. Okay, so that's gone really light. Now just make that a bit darker. Can you see how, I mean, that is what I would call as uneven, but it does give you shading. So the other way I do it is I just do little circular movements. Again, trying to miss out the middle bit where the stamens are. Right, now go back round again, get the darker section. just very quickly over the centre bit. And then go around here again for a dark section. And then underneath. There we go, both of them. Looks okay, doesn't it? So now this one, again, just very, very lightly all over. And then round the edges for dark bits. This is a bit more of a challenge because you've got smaller areas that you're trying to colour in. That other flower, they're very big petals. But it's not too bad. Okay, so that's that one all coloured in. Now I'll go for my darker bits. There we go. So all I'm going to do is just cut that bit out. So what I do is just cut that off. It's no good being economical with my stamping if I don't do something to actually save that strip. Right, okay, so I cut up, I start by the stem and I leave a tiny white area all round. Now first of all, this is the only part out of these flowers where you've got something touching against there. So as I cut, I just go very, very close to where the two black bits are, because there's no way you're going to get a white area there. So I just swerve in and then swerve out again very gently. And if you're new to fussy cutting, the easiest way is to move your paper and not your scissors. Okay, you can see I'm turning the paper to keep my scissors more or less straight. Right, now as I come down this side of the stem, I turn when I get to the black line so that I still get the white bit. You don't have to be too precise about this because that particular bit is going to go under another flower. But then turn around and come back again. So I haven't gone back, I haven't gone right the way down to the black line. And carry on cutting around this flower. And then when I get down to the bottom of this stem, I just cut across the black line. And they'll stay together because when you came down this side, you left a little bit gap on the white. Okay. And also by looking at it on your hand, you can tell whether you've left any white bits that you feel that maybe ought to have been cut out. So if we move all of these bits away, I'll bring these in. These are the ones I did earlier. I'll save that because these other ones I'll make another card with. So what I'll do next, I think, is I'll put my card together. And you use whichever is your preferred method of adhesive. Mine is Tombow. So to the front of my card first. And then my designer series paper. We do have a new catalogue coming out on the 1st of June. If you don't already have a Stampin' Up demonstrator who will be sending you a catalogue, I'll be happy to pop one in the post for you. Unfortunately, Stampin' Up rules only allow me to send them to people with addresses in the UK, Netherlands, France, Germany and Austria. But as I say, that will be going live on the 1st of June. I think that piece was one of my scraps, wasn't it? If you're already a customer of mine, I will automatically be sending you your own copy of the new catalogue. Oops, I think that was a scrap one. And if you haven't already checked out the retiring list, things are selling out fast, so you might want to check that out. I'll put the link to my 24/7 online Stampin' Up shop in the box below of the video. Right, so there's that one for the flowers. Now we just need this one for the sentiment. There's a lot of gluing on this one to be done, a lot of layers. You could use any sentiment for this card. It would be suitable for birthday card, get well card, Mother's Day card. I think it would also make a very nice sympathy card. Okay, so there's that bit. So I just need this one now. Pop this inside the card. Just turn this upside down because that's the way I find this easiest nowadays. There we go. It's a beautiful colour, isn't it? I'm really pleased with that. Right, so now we need to put our flowers on here. And I have already done my dimensionals, but I will show you first of all what I've done. Now the one that's going to go on first, I've got one dimensional right in the centre there, and I've got one behind each leaf. I haven't done anything about the stem because that's going to have a bow going over it, which will hold it in place, but you could always put a bit of glue to hold it down there. Okay, so this one, I'm just going to put this sort of in the centre. In fact, let me bring this one over so you can see how much gap I've left both sides. Okay, so it's this one here. So it's down, what, about an inch, about half an inch in there. And the stem's coming down more or less straight. So it's about an inch down, half an inch from the side, more or less straight. So there's that one. Now for this one, because this flower is going to be overlapping, I've kept my dimensional on this side and on here. But on this, I will actually glue that bit down. I'm not gluing anything here because it's quite close to the edge. So let's do those two pieces. And again, I'm not sticking the stem down, just making it just about go over. Okay. So I want a little bit on that leaf there. Come on, Tombo. I haven't said that for a long time, have I? Oh, that's better. While I'm here, I might as well do this bit as well. That's it. Just give that a few seconds for Tombo to get a grip. Now with the flowers, you can do these any which way you like. Shall I do them differently or shall I do them the same? I think I decided that was too tall for that side, if I remember. So yeah, let's stick to what we know works. So on the back of these, I've just put a scrap of dimensional on both flowers. And I just slide that in underneath wherever I want it to go. And then this one's got a complete dimensional on it. And again, I'm going to slide that in underneath. Okay, so that looks pretty close to that one. Now I'm going to pop this on here. Again with Tombo. And I'm putting this probably about half an inch up, I suppose. Right, let me just look at that to make sure it's straight. Yep, I think that is. And then I'll do the thank you. I'm just centering that so I've got the same gap there as I have there, same gap there as that side. That doesn't look very straight. Now move before it gets stuck. Yep, I think that's okay. So the last thing I need to do is the bow, and the ribbon I'm using is the 1/4 inch Very Vanilla. Again, this is retiring at the end of May, and what I do what we call a bunny ears bow. So fold that in half and hold it, make a bunny's ear that side, and then cross those two over, so you've got what looks like to be a bunny. And then this one, tuck it under so it comes up through that hole, and as you pull it, it needs to twist. but don't let that bit come out. Okay, then you can just keep pulling these until you've got the bow the size you want. Which is probably about that size. One side looks longer than the other, I think, doesn't it? Okay, I always push mine back like that because when I squeeze them like that, that gets really flattened. So that's going to be about right. So I'm just going to trim the tails. And most people use glue dots to pop this on, but I do Tombow. It only needs to be held for a few seconds to get a grip. If you still find that it's not gluing very well, if you just put something heavy on top of it, I normally use one of our punches if I have trouble, which I did with the pink one, this one. The blue one was okay, it works straight away. But there we go, that's today's project. I hope you like it, hope you give it a try. If you have any questions or any comments you'd like to make, please leave them in the box below the video, or you can email me at JanB@janbcards.com. I'm always very happy to help you. If you would like to purchase any of the products that you featured here today, I'll put the link for my 24/7 online Stampin' Up shop in the box below so that you click on that and go straight to there and do your shopping. The only thing that I think I've used here that is retiring, two things. One is the ribbon and also this designer series paper. So that is now while stocks last. But the stamp sets, the marker pens, the stamps, marker pens, cardstock, that's all staying. That's not disappearing, not going anywhere. If you have enjoyed my video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking on the subscribe button. Many thanks for joining me today. Until next time, happy crafting. Cheerio.